Welcome and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the Automotive Podcast, where you don't build model cars, but it sure does help. This is episode 42. And with us tonight, very special guest, Mr. Chad Reid. Let's say down there for me. You may recognize Chad immediately from his appearances in the Round2 videos on your monthly beginning of the month there. And talk, of course, a little bit about Round2, but we're talking to Chad about his own hobby, because Chad does build models and has quite a few interesting real one-to-one cars as well. So be a fun chat for everybody. Obviously, I'm on the road yet again, so yay. So that was a fun scramble here at the end, trying to figure out audio and video on a phone that I normally don't use for this. And so I don't have to talk and sound like crap over this connection. Mr. Tester, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
I'm still working on my TVR Tuscan for the Gallery World Championship, blah, blah, blah competition. So it's an all 3D printed kit, so it makes it just a little bit harder than just building a normal kit. But it's moving along.
I saw your most recent video. You painted look like black primer. Have you got the color coats on it yet?
The body is now in gloss black, which is the base for the prism blue, green, turquoise.
Nice
flip paint. So yeah, it's coming along.
Cool.
And the newest kits from PZY came in. So I got the 1/64 scale Ferrari 296 GT3. It's tiny little car, and with way too many pieces and way too many photo etched and way too many decals. And then we got the F80 in as well, the Ferrari F80. It's a new hypercar. So I reviewed both of those on the channel and it's getting some good reviews on it. So I think it's pretty interesting.
Now, do you actually plan to build that 1/64 scale?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, with a full carbon wrap. It'll be fun.
That sounds like a task.
Oh, man. I don't know if you saw his video. There's an amazing amount of parts, and they're tiny, like itty-bitty little things. So
yeah, some of the decals are the size of the tweezer pinch, you know? Like, I don't even know how I'm going to put them on.
That'd be quite a challenge.
I'll figure it out.
So what I liked about it from seeing the pictures was, again, there's just like two pieces and like some press-on stickers, except for the part where there's like 5 sheets of decals and there are like 70 parts to that thing, and it's the size of a Hot Wheels car. Like,
yes.
Okay, we'll all check back on your eyesight in about a month. We'll see if you can see anything.
I have an overhead light with a magnifier on it, so I think I'll be resting my chin on the light, looking through the magnifier.
Nice.
I'd say it'll be interesting to see, how popular that ends up being. I mean, a lot of people will purchase it just for the novelty of it, but I want to see how many of them actually get built, because it's like, oh, it's a 1/64 scale car. It'll be fun. It'll be quick. It'll be easy. And then you get a regular 1/24 scale worth of pieces and parts and PE and all the rest of it in there. It's like, hey.
Right. Wenben says that the 1/64 scale is real popular in China, Japan. So, you see a lot of the pop race cars over there, and so people collect them.
Yeah, the high-end 1/64 scale seems to be an Asia thing. Spark and all those other companies that do that.
Right.
It's $50-$60, Hot Wheels car.
Basically.
Hey, Chad, on a 1/64th Auto World diecast, how many parts are there typically?
In an Auto World, there's probably, not a crazy amount. A lot of them have, some have separate headlights, but usually it's chassis, interior, body, glass. The engine is a separate piece. The hood is a separate piece because they all have opening hoods. 2-piece wheels, rubber tires. So it's not a crazy amount as compared to like some of the Racing Champions mints have a little more parts and pieces in them. But sometimes we like to do a lot of extra details as far as tampo and paint and stuff to really bring the detail out. But we've got some, we'll have some stuff coming up that'll have a little more parts and pieces later on in the year.
Cool. Have you ever done any like unassembled, like model kit styles that you build yourself and paint?
We haven't done any since I've been at Round2. Johnny Lightning did some back in the day, like did the 64 scale model kits. They did like the Batmobile, which was one I put together, like the old 1940s Batmobile where it was all parts and pieces. And that one was kind of fun. We haven't really done much in terms of diecast for that. We've done some like slot car assembly kits and that kind of stuff. But it's always something. It's something that we always toss around, but finding the peg space or where to put it, what to do with it. So
yeah,
shelf space too, because your shelf space is limited as well.
Yeah, and anything new that you try, it's like you got to pitch it to the major buyers and then get them, get space dedicated for whatever new line it is you want to do. So that's always like the fun challenge when you come up with like a great new idea. Is now you got to get all the mass stores to buy in on it and give you space.
Interesting.
So I don't think people who haven't worked in big box retail, I did the delivery end of it, don't appreciate the fact that like that isn't just like, oh yeah, Walmart's going to start carrying that. No, Walmart has a fixed set of things that they're going to do, and you have to, for lack of a better term, buy your shelf space into that toy store. It's like, it's not just like, oh yeah, there's a new product and we'll just throw it out there. It's very tightly controlled and a process to put new product into a store like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we usually will distribute it. The number one thing we always hear is like, what's, is this going to be in my Walmart? And that's always something where we're like, we give them, how many stores they want to do. We let them kind of, they determine that, and then they pick what stores they are. But like the model kit, like the palette program and stuff that we've been doing in Walmart, that's been really good. And it's been a big success for them as well. So that's one that we're really kind of happy about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've not seen any model kits in my local Walmart. I was kind of disappointed the last turnaround of kits that you did. There was a couple in particular I was interested in and I never saw.
From how I understand it, it's like a store by store decision on if they want to pick up the palette program. So it's kind of like you can ask your store and say, hey, would you like to carry the palette program? But the program, it's been doing really well. So I think it will be in more stores. Don't necessarily quote me on that, but I believe it will be when we run the program again. But it's been a pretty big success, especially with like the repackages and the new box arts and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, awesome.
Oh right, the pickup truck, the pickup truck that went crazy, right?
Right, yeah. And there was a lot of really cool like reboxes and stuff on some of the just perennial good selling kits that we hadn't updated in a long time, and that was kind of a good opportunity to freshen them back up.
That was the Sundowner kit. Is that what the GMC was? The
right.
fall
Yeah.
Got reboxed with new artwork and kind of went viral.
It really did.
For lack of a better term. Will we see that kit reissued, or is it just that one time Walmart?
Just that one time for that one.
Okay. Interesting.
Just shot right up in value right there.
Yeah, say now people are going to want $100 for it instead of
right.
So too bad Round2 can't get a little cut of that. The aftermarket pricing on that one. Sean, what have you been up to?
I got a little paint on the pickup I was working on. So
that 67.
Yeah, my 67. I got it painted.
Ooh.
So got clear coat on it.
Is that the tropical glitz paint?
Yeah, tropical glitz. I forget what it's called. What is it? Tropical Punch Lollipop. So.
Sucker for green trucks, green cars. So
dark green. Yeah, oddly enough, I thought it was going to be like a teal color, but it's pretty much just dark green.
Yeah, it's very, very green. Whoop.
I think they just knocked him off stage. Whoops. I may add him back. I was trying to make it big again, but apparently I don't have the control for that in here.
Sean, how did the tropical glitz paint shoot? Like
it's
regular lacquer, or
it's kind of a urethane based. I found it a little bit hard to paint because the metallic content in it is really heavy, and automatically, and the paint is really thin, it just sinks to the bottom of like the jar really
Okay.
fast. And
Okay.
I when I was originally painting it, I'd filled the cup up on my airbrush, a good amount, and it would sink. The metallic content would sink and clog up like the stuff inside
Right.
just within a couple minutes. So I kind of quickly learned to not fill the cup up very big
Okay.
and spray through it, and then just kind of, and it's really thin, so it takes a lot of coats. I probably had 8 or 9 coats in order to build up enough coverage to like completely have a clear consistent color across. Yeah. But it turned out nice. I like it. So
It looks great.
yeah, excited I need to do the polish on it yet, so I'll polish it out, do all the bare metal foil, and that's going to be just a quick kind of slammer project.
Fun.
Get it done. That's all I've really been working on. I haven't done anything. Nothing else going on.
Oh, nothing earth shattering. We're not putting something else on a trophy truck chassis or anything like that.
I've got a couple things going on, but I'm not ready to share them yet. So
We've had them on a few box arts. So
yeah, did quite a few box arts this year. So there's a bunch of stuff that I've worked on that hasn't floated its way into the atmosphere yet. So
As I say, we caught Sean out by accident last episode, showing him the box art for the Slayer, rebox of the old Ecto one. Cadillac.
Yeah,
He said he did it, but he hadn't seen the final version of it, and I don't know. It was probably Model Roundup or somebody put that out there, and he was like, "Oh wow,
yeah,
I did that."
Usually, once it gets approved, we'll share it to our distributors, and then they'll start posting box arts. And but that one turned out great. There's some other cool ones in that series coming up too.
Yeah, I just do the car itself. Usually, occasionally I'll do a background, but more often than not, it's just usually the car. And then there's other graphic designers that do the box layout, and so often it's kind of a surprise to me. I see it when other people see it, like,
right.
Oh, what they did with that. Okay, that's interesting. That's cool. That's
well,
me.
as one might expect, I've done nothing. I am on travel for work again. This was not as unexpected as the one time where I literally flew out the same day as the podcast and was doing the podcast from an airplane as it landed. But yeah, I'm out of town for the week, and that's pretty much it for me. I've got some stuff coming from overseas, but none of that will get built right away, right? So I have been talking to James does a lot of stuff with PZY. I've talked to the guys at Alpha a lot. They've got a couple of 1/43rd scale stuff coming out, so it is kind of interesting to see the duality, for lack of a better term, of these smaller scale resin subjects. I know that in their grand scheme of things, who knows what they'll actually get done in a year. They were going to put out probably 25, 30 1/43rd scale cars this year.
Wow.
So apparently the initial run of those, because James and I have talked about this offline, as to whether or not that would be something that would sell, being a company that traditionally makes 1/24 scale stuff, whether the small scale stuff would. And apparently, yes, it does. And their stuff's, the same crazy nonsense that we were just talking about PZYs in terms of parts and photo etch and decals and stuff like that. All right, Chad. Well, you obviously weren't here 2 weeks ago to say what you did 2 weeks ago, but do you have anything on your actual personal modeling bench right now?
On my modeling bench, I don't have anything currently. We moved into a new house, so we've been doing new house projects. But I have a big stash that's kind of built up, but I've been working more towards like my 1-to-1 car and getting ready for that. So we built a big pole barn, or had a big pole barn put up. And so we've been doing electrical in there. We've been fixing a lot of stuff around the house. We've been collecting parts for that. So until I get a new setup, I'll probably won't be doing some building for at least maybe in the winter. I'll pick some up again. Right. Yeah, winter project. The last one I built was actually the MPC Celica Supra kit with the wide body parts on it because
Okay.
I just really liked the style of that kit. I'm not a particularly great modeler, but I, pick up projects here or there. Built a fun one a few years ago for my dad. He has a 73 Dart Swinger, and there wasn't really an exact kit, so I did the old Petty Dart like kit with the stock car version of it. Kind of made like a street NASCAR version of his car with the roll cage and the tube chassis and all those parts, and painted it up like his, and then gave that to him. But it took me a while. I mean, that one actually turned out a little better than the Celica Supra did. But lots of projects going on right now.
What's the big full size project you got working on?
It is a very long-term project I've had for like 9 years that I've been buying parts for. It's a 1972 Datsun 240Z. So I bought it as a total like barn find, seized engine, no floors, like just it was repainted. I bought it for I think $1,800 and took it back and got new floors in it and tore everything out of it, and then kind of crazy life stuff's happened. We're getting married this year, and I built the barn so that we could really work on it. But it's it'll be getting a RB25 out of a Skyline GTST engine, a 6-speed 350Z trans, bigger turbo, standalone ECU, all of that kind of stuff. So I got wheels, coilovers, like it's just been a big parts pile. So the goal, my friends are convinced that we can get it running before the wedding. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm like, hey, you guys are welcome to come over and help me wrench on it. So
you could roadkill it together, right?
Right. Yeah. It will. No, it won't be pretty, but like maybe it can fire up at least. So that's kind of the long term. I sort of had other cars in the in between of getting that one. So I had a Volkswagen Golf R for a while. I have a Tacoma now, a 6-speed Tacoma. So I only have 2 cars at the moment, so that's not too bad.
And did you have a road racing car of some sort at some point?
We have there's a car that we built with, it was me and like 5 friends that built it together, and we still have it. It was a 98 Honda Civic hatchback that we built for 24 Hours of Lemons. So that one is, we bought it in the UP initially. For the guy had it listed for like $350, and we went up there for an autocross, and my friend was going to race his car, had the clutch blow. It was a 2-day autocross, so we went the first day, and then we were out at a brewery out in Marquette, Michigan, and we were like, man, it'd be really, it's the UP. There's a lot of cheap cars. Maybe we just go on Facebook and see what we can find, and we found that EK Civic that the guy wanted, and he'd apparently had too many like DUIs, so he was getting rid of it. But it was a purple manual transmission. It ran and drove, but it was just a rust bucket. So we bought it that night, autocrossed it the next day, and then we were going to sell it. And we decided, so he's like, well, just take it downstate with you, and you can list it for sale. And I'd had a couple friends that they'd done lemons before, so we were kind of like, well, now's the time. We got a car that was under $500. So now it's been through 4 engines that it's had engines blown up. It's full caged. All the lemons things you need to do, full cage fire suppression system. It's got there's, I don't know how many parts cars that have gone through it, but last year, the guys kind of finished up doing a K-Series swap in it. So now it's like kind of a legitimate, decent race car. But it's been a few years since I took it on track. I took it on track when we kind of first got it going, and now I've been doing kind of like pit stuff and focusing on the Datsun. But it's a blast. We still have it. We did it in Johnny Lightning as a diecast.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, it's a purple and cheetah print Civic, and you're supposed to have a silly theme when you do lemons. So our theme was a trailer queen. So we did it like with leopard print. We did it like it was like the Queen of the Trailer Park was sort of the theme that we were going for. So it's been fun. But
Was that the first time that you'd raced a car on track?
yeah. I mean, I'd done like an autocross or two before. When I was in college, my friend and we founded like a sports car club for I went to school at Michigan Tech in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we founded a club for putting on autocross events. So we kind of teamed up with the SCCA up there, and we would put on autocrosses and that kind of stuff. And he raced with a different Lemons team just once, and so that was actually my first time like really getting on track. And it was kind of like my nerves were so high because the car wasn't running well. So I took it out for practice on like the Friday, the first time we went, and it was fairly open, but it was only out like 20 minutes and the track was soaking wet. And then the car kept breaking down. It kept overheating. I kept like putting on my race suit, like for my, to do my stint. And then like the car would break down. So you get like your adrenaline's pumping. You're like, okay. And that went the whole weekend until Sunday. I finally got out there. The car was like hot, overheating. It was wheel to wheel. There were 96 cars on track. And there's like three different categories. So there's like C class, B class, and A class. So you're out there with anything from like a 70s Ford LTD that's like can't get out of the way. And then there's guys with like LS swapped, old RX-7s that are just like going past you like you're sitting still. So you're just in this constant buzz of traffic, and it was intense for sure. It's super fun.
So it's pretty much like, a Friday evening commute.
Right. Yeah. It's not that different than going on any like any freeway in Michigan where it's a 70 and everyone's doing 100. Yeah. But no, it's fun. I'm kind of itching to get back out and do it again. We went up to Road America last year when the swap was done, and like the car was really running good and not overheating. And I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of itching to get out there and try it out again.
Nice. When are we going to see some autocross themed model kits?
Oh, that would be really cool. It's
scale cones.
It'd be fun to get like the subject. Yeah, do some like cone killer like kind of series or whatever. No, it would be fun. We also do we sponsor the Good Guys events. So we do like the program. It's like a make and take where we donate kits, and for all the Good Guys events, there's like a couple hundred kits that they give away to kids. And we've been doing that for 5 or 6 years, but they have a really awesome like autocross. So we always go to the one in Columbus, Ohio. But it's all these really cool resto mod, like mid-year Corvettes and second gen Camaros and C10 pickups that are just done to the nines. So that subject matter would be really cool in a model.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Since you're over in Michigan, my son did the Gambler this weekend in a clapped out Cummins diesel pickup.
I've always wanted to do the Gambler. We were kind of after Lemons, we were like, oh, we should build a Gambler car. It was what kind of pickup did you say?
He's a Dodge Cummins diesel.
Oh man, that would be awesome. I really love the whole Gambler series, and it's cool, like the trail cleanup and stuff that they do as part of it. Also, it'd be something that'd be really fun to get into. Yeah. How did he do? Did he make it?
He didn't say. He was just sending me pictures of the three guys in the front bench seat with Mickey Mouse ears on because it was so loud. He said it had a shorty exhaust just right behind the passenger door.
Oh yeah, that's fun for a 500-mile trip.
It's a good idea on paper, poor idea in practice.
Right.
That'll be really loud. It'll be great. Except we have to sit in this thing for the next 12 hours.
An idea born over beers, right?
Yeah.
Pat, have you always been a car guy, or how did you get into cars?
Yeah, pretty much. I was so I come from a generation of car guys. So my grandpa on my mom's side, he was more like he was into like choppers and motorcycles and that kind of stuff. Like he would build choppers, and he liked cars too, but then my grandpa on my dad's side, he was a big car guy. So he, when I was growing up, he restored like a 64 and a half Mustang convertible. He had a 56 Bel Air that he bought it, and we all thought it was so nice. And he's like, no, it's not good enough. So he ripped everything out of it and got a crate engine and had it redone. And then my dad was always, he was always a big car guy. So we'd have all these pictures from, he owned 5 El Caminos before I was born at one point, and he was a big Chevy guy, Monte Carlos, and with side pipes and everything kind of done up that way. And when I was growing up, he'd have more trucks because it was like 3 kids and everything. So he had a square body Suburban that he actually painted like Bigfoot when I was a kid. It had we actually did the model kit of it. It's the one with like kind of the pink and blue bolts down the side of it. And he painted that on, he was kind of into the like mini trucking sort of thing, but it was this big full size Suburban. So I kind of got, we were always going to shows, and I was into classic cars through my dad, but then like anyone in my era, we grew up watching Fast and Furious and all of those movies. And so kind of first car I had was a 91 Oldsmobile that I bought from my parents. And I painted it like Mustang Sonic blue and put purple underbody lights on it. And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever because I was like 15. I had it painted before I could even drive it. But so it's just always been something where I'm like, I don't like to drive something that's stock. I like to kind of tinker with whatever it is. Usually I like to make stuff look pretty more than like dealing with all the mechanicals. Like I'll do it, but I like the whole style aspect and kind of like the personality that comes into it. That's why modeling is such a fun thing, because every car guy is like has a million projects in their head that they want to do, and you just can't afford it or can't have the time and it's fun to just kind of like have that canvas to let those ideas kind of spring to life. So
yeah, absolutely.
I got bit by the bug early.
The guy with the Nismo hat mods cars. Huh, who saw that coming?
Who knew?
How did you end up working at Round2?
It was kind of funny. It was like sort of not necessarily by chance, but so when I got out of school, my first job, I actually moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I worked for a marketing firm there. I went to college for marketing, and they because I had done like the whole autocross thing when I was in college, they actually worked with like Audi and Volkswagen. They did like DOS Auto magazine there. They actually did events with Audi, like in Detroit. They worked with Ferrari, Mini Cooper, and it was a lot Harley Davidson. And they kind of hired me just because as just starting out low level, like account coordinator, just because they were doing autocrosses and stuff with Audi. And they're like, well, this kid has some knowledge. So I worked there for about like 2.5 years. And then I moved back towards South Bend area, the kind of the Michigan, Indiana border here, and worked at a boating company for a little bit, and then was looking for another job. And the Round2 thing kind of just popped up. And so I applied for the position, went in, and actually when I first did the interview, the job listing wasn't like super clear necessarily on what, what all was going on. So I started in 2015. That was before we had the Johnny Lightning, before we were managing Johnny Lightning or any of that. But I kind of went in for the interview, and when I was a kid, I had AMT model kits, that we would mess with or badly try to build them up. And so I started through that. They were kind of like, oh, you have automotive experience and marketing experience. So I ended up coming in initially to do things like sell sheets and print ads. And I still do some of that kind of stuff, but that has then over the years just evolved into doing the YouTube videos. I do a little bit of tooling development on the 164th line, a lot of other just marketing tasks, and kind of there's a lot of jack of all trades. So It just kind of happened. I actually didn't know they were headquartered in South Bend until the job listing went up. And I'm like, I had Johnny Lightning as a kid. Like I had AMT kits as a kid. So it's really been a super cool experience to have something that was actually close to where I grew up that I didn't realize was so local.
That's amazing. Looks like a fun job.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it is any job. Like we're always trying to,
right?
Yeah, you're always trying to get stuff out. You're always like, making sure you finish everything up. We all got to make sure that we're making money and getting paid at the end of the day. But as far as like being able to do really cool stuff, I mean, it's pretty awesome, especially like in the realm of like doing the 64 scale tooling. I haven't done any tooling development on model kits yet. But it's really fun to kind of start that process of like, hey, I think it'd be cool to do this vehicle, and then working through all of the back end of, well, how many options do we do? How do we tool it? What are the things that we can do with it? And then kind of going through the reviews and seeing that come to life is super rewarding. You finally get to that first release out, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It makes all the hard work worth it.
That's cool. I've been curious, like I'm trying to envision what that process looks like when you're trying to decide what new model kit to build either from scratch or reissue. Do you guys like sit around and have like intense discussion and like fist fights over, oh, we should do this, or what's it look like?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of that. Like right now we kind of have heads of each department. So Aaron Skinner's our head of model kit development now. He came from Fine Scale, and then Jamie Hood, who a lot of you guys know as well, he's our head of all product development now. So he's been doing that for a few years. So at the end of the day, it kind of all goes through him, and then the higher ups. But we generally will make the plans, and part of my position is I'm the manager of marketing and trends is what the position title is. So I do all the marketing, but I also do things like look for new licenses, new models, and things that are a little out of the realm of like re-releases or that kind of stuff, and just kind of give feedback or give like recommendations to the teams across like all product lines. So it might be if we're trying to get into, say, we want to do more cars for a younger demographic, or we want to do imports, or we want to do something like that. It might be something where I'm like, hey, we could try this or try that. And then they'll either say, hey, you're crazy, or hey, that might be a good idea, and kind of put that into the plan. So it's a really collaborative. Of course, we get like I can see in the comments here, all kinds of feedback, which is always helpful. So we read through all like the YouTube comments for every video. We read through all the things that people are asked for. We go to the shows, I know you go to a lot of the shows with Steve. So we're really like try to keep an eye on what's happening. And part of it is finding the kits that are the cars that were maybe forgotten for a while. And we 10 years ago, we may not have re-released that tool, but now that car has gained popularity, and well, let's revisit it. Let's see what the tool looks like, or see if we have to rebuild it from scratch. And then there are some instances here where we've got some stuff coming up that's going to be fully never done before kits as well. So it's
interesting. You mentioned trends, like 90s cars are hot.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you've seen that where we've revisited a lot of those like AMT 90s kits, and they've been doing really well for us, because it is kind of those, like there was a time where it's like, oh, that car's kind of lame. Who wants to build a 90s Taurus? Well, now it's like you look at where things are going, even in the real car world, and you're seeing, I mean, I just saw like Meekum sold a 96 4Runner for like $50,000 this week. And you're like, and I bought one of those 5 years ago for $400. Yeah. But, I mean, it had been rolled over, but it ran. But like, you kind of follow what's happening in that real world of cars, and then that like helps to determine what'll be the next model kit. Because the biggest thing that we really want to do is like we want to make sure that we're always doing the things that like the core modelers love, but we also want to make sure that we're like building the hobby. Because I don't think that I don't get the feeling that people who are younger don't want to model. I think it's just subject matter. Sometimes, you got to really find the thing that hits them and gets them hooked, and then you can kind of open up the whole library of modeling to them at that point. You get that one that it's like, okay, let's bring them in, and then hopefully then they kind of pick up and start to love AMT or MPC or Auto World Diecast or Johnny Lightning or whatever it is.
What's a current trend that has surprised you that you're like, oh, wow, I would have never thought that would have been popular?
Oh, you guys are gonna laugh at this, because this. So we put up the post about our My Little Pony snap kit for the Mustang, and that was one where we were like, you know what, this is a big license. It's has a really crazy following. And so we talked through some ideas. We're like, well, do pony cars, do Mustang, how do we do a snap kit? How do we get younger modelers into it? How do we get maybe a kit that you would want to build with your daughter? And then, there's also the brony crowd, but that was kind of one of those things where we're like, let's try something different with this and let's see what happens. And so we put a post up on like our Instagram and Facebook pages about that kit, and it totally took off. Like it went completely crazy on like Instagram. Awesome. I think like we were putting up, new tooling and stuff that does really well, and we would be getting, maybe it would be 1,100 likes or something on our page, and it gets shared. This My Little Pony kit got liked like 10,000 times and shared like 4,000 times, and it like hit this market, like it hit this like vein, like in the algorithm or whatever of Instagram, where all the like My Little Pony fans kind of jumped on board, and we're like, the comments are hilarious. There's like pages that are like, their names are like Sniffing Plastic Ponies, and they're like, I'm chewing on my screen, I want this so bad. Like there's just like, they kind of like took off, and that's one of those things where it's like, if you get somebody new to build a model car, like and introduce like that level of new people into modeling, like sure, it's way different than something that we usually like our bread and butter, but it was like, hey, let's take a risk and see what happens. So that was one that I would say, like, as soon as we put that up, it was like, is this an April Fool's joke or something? And we've been pretty pleasantly surprised by it.
I have this feeling we're going to see more My Little Pony kids.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully the sales, reflect but we were very pleasantly surprised by like taking a chance on something and then actually seeing like, oh wow, this is like, there's something here maybe. And like I said, our goal is always to grow the hobby. We don't want to gatekeep it. We don't want to, just discourage people from trying it because it's like, oh, a different subject matter or something like that. Like I think that there's so much in the realm of like, once you get caught, like I was saying, you want to build all kinds of stuff because you want to grow your skills and then to get onto the next thing and do the next thing. So
yeah, that's awesome. I think it's cool that you guys are doing a whole line of Hot Wheels stuff.
Yeah. And that's been doing really well too. So that was one, we did some Hot Wheels stuff a few years ago, and when I went to renew, we were like, let's like really dig into this, because the Hot Wheels stuff was doing pretty well. So we announced at New York Toy Fair, we have like an all new twin mill that's coming out. That's full new kit. Yeah. So that's going to be cool. We're going to have some pretty cool, like variation, like an exclusive variation of it that will come out. There's going to be some really fun Hot Wheels kits that are happening. I think also at Toy Fair we did tease like we're doing the Candy Striper as well. So and that's one that's like, I mean that thing goes crazy anyway, like the price of that actual Hot Wheels car. And it's just such a cool subject matter, the 55 gasser. And we actually did some changes to our 55 tooling to do like the rounded wheels in the back, the rounded wheel wells. So it's like whether you even want to build it as the candy striper or just like a really cool gasser, it was like a no-brainer to make those adjustments to the tool and do something really cool with it. So we'll have some other Hot Wheels stuff. There's a lot of other re-releases that we're doing of kind of like the show cars that built up like the Sweet 16 and doing some of those. So it's been a lot of fun. And we're all Hot Wheels fans, like anyway. I have a giant diecast collection, and that's another thing that haven't gotten fully unboxed yet since I've been back into the new house. So part of the reason for building a big pole barn is like somewhere to put all my diecast. But
You have like you get like cool like one-off samples and stuff that from your vendor and store away in your collection, or
no, not really. I mean, we have our samples that come in, like our pre-production samples that we photograph, or those kind of things. But usually it's not like, we don't really get anything that's like a one-off. We'll usually just get like maybe a couple of samples of what the actual like final product's going to look like. But normally we have a pretty good idea as to like what we're going to have, like what we're going to do before we do it. So by the time we get a painted sample, like it's really committed to like what color it's going to be, what everything's going to look like. So there's not really times where we'll say, oh, let's try it in this color and get a sample like that. I know that like with previous diecast companies, it's like you see some of that where it's like, oh, this was a prototype where we thought about doing this. But usually it's like we have just one or just a handful of pre-production samples that we use for, and then everything else is like production samples that come in.
I can't. I had a friend that worked in one of the companies, and I remember talking to him one time. He's like, yeah, we would just order a sample like in 12 different colors. We knew we were never going to put them in production, but we wanted to get some,
right.
Some
and I imagine samples were probably cheaper then, because it obviously like costs, it costs money for us to have the factories make the samples for us to get the line. So if we were just like, hey, willy-nilly, hey, set up your production line to run because we want to see what this looks like in fuchsia, so I think that was like maybe a little more of a like Wild West, where it was like easier to do that kind of stuff. But now it's like the factories make sure that they get paid for their time, and like rightfully so. So yeah, we don't do too much of just trying stuff out. We will do things like if we do samples of paint colors or something, like, hey, we want to see what this color looks like. Like there was an instance for Auto World where Mike was working on the ultra red color for our chase cars. And he's like, yeah, I don't like, there's been some changes to the formula. I think we need to revisit it. So we went through kind of like some trial of like getting the ultra red color, like really good. And so there's instances like that where we'll say, okay, well, send us a sample, but they'll usually just give us like a body that's not put together and just with the color painted on it. And they might just send us that. So it's nothing more than just like a metal body with no detail, where we'll just look at a paint color and see how it actually looks.
That's awesome. I know there's some of the other things that you mentioned at the toy fair. I think it was, there's a new Mack truck coming out.
Yeah. So that's there's been a lot of good like feedback on that one ever since we put it out. And that was an instance where so we were working on the 3D for it for a while. That's one that Steve's been working on. So it's kind of been like a pet project of his. But him and Aaron actually went out to, I think it was Philadelphia or somewhere in Pennsylvania, maybe, to look at a real truck. And actually, so we got photos of like R3D compared to like Steve crawling around under the truck and getting the right measurements. And that's one that's really, it's really cool. So I think he actually, might have shown that at a recent show that he was at. I've actually not seen the latest prototype yet because Steve's had it. So until he brings it up to the office next, I won't actually be able to get my photography and everything done on it. But it looks like it's coming along really well.
I think there was a display board. I think he had it in NL East. I don't think he had a prototype of it, but he had
Okay.
Thoughts of the CAD model.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming along for sure. So
you're probably excited. You're a Toyota taco guy for the new Toyota.
Oh yeah. No, that kit's gonna be really cool. So it's the SR5. I think the 1985 SR5 kit. So that I'm really stoked about that one coming out.
We won't say anything about back and future or anything like that.
No, it's
just
merely a coincidence.
Check out the 4x4. Yep.
Are there any other? What's the most favorite new kit that you're excited about?
I mean, I'm definitely excited about that one coming out. I'm very excited for the Sweet Tooth Twisted Metal ice cream truck. So
you showed that to me at Detroit last year.
Yeah. So we have we'll be showing it soon again. We showed a little bit of it in the video, but I've got some photos of the test shot, the built up test shot, and it's really good. So that kit it's not a snap together. It's more of like a push together, like a push lock kind of. It goes together really well. It's pretty easy to build, low parts count, but it's like for you guys that love weathering, it's gonna be like a really fun one for weathering. So I'm gonna do some photos of that, and then we actually have a really nice build up that was done for the box art, and the box art is we're not showing it yet till everything goes through approval, but it looks really cool. And I grew up playing that game, and I've been watching the TV show lately, and that's just one that I'm really happy that we did that. So it's I'm excited for that one. I'm also excited about the Bluesmobile when that one comes out as well.
Oh, yeah,
so,
for sure.
Because I love that movie. So, and the fact that nobody has done it yet is almost kind of like mind-boggling. So,
right.
But it's definitely a hard car to do because it's a hard car to find good reference for.
Right.
So, yeah, it's what was that?
None of them survived.
Right. Yeah. they were all wrecked and crushed. Yeah.
As I say, make the one at the end of the movie where all the panels fell off when they got to the county clerk's office.
Right. Yeah. I know as soon as it comes out, someone will build that. They'll cut all the panels up and build that scene. There was even, because we're not far from Chicago, so I have a friend that lived out by Joliet, and they have like a Bluesmobile up on a spike on one of the gas stations out there. I think that car is actually like a 75 or something, though. I can't remember. Like there's all kinds of reference. Like there's a guy that has like a really good replica. We worked with him a little bit when we were doing the model kit to get photos. So it'll be a great kit. But it's definitely one that's a little more of a difficult car to find reference for. You're not just going to find a 74 Monaco just anywhere. So.
Now, when I emailed you, I told you respect what you can and can't tell us. We're not going to shake it down for information. But can you tip a hand a little bit as to the Bluesmobile and the pickup truck? Are those going to be full kits, or are they going to be Craftsman Plus style? I think the big question that people would have. Yeah,
I believe they're both full kits. Okay. I know the truck has all the full kit detail. The Monaco, I'll have to double check on it. I can't remember if it has the full engine because I know it's going to come with, obviously there's like extra parts and pieces to do the Bluesmobile. So I'll verify that one and get back to you because I haven't checked in on that project in a month or two and see where it's at. But the truck will be a full kit for sure.
I guess the other big talking point that I had for this is, can you speak to sort of what a game changer it's been in terms of probably diecast as well, but it's in kit development, the ability to 3D scan the original kits to make new tooling out of them, like that was something that didn't exist 5 years ago, and now it's allowed you guys to reproduce the Coronet and the Transtar and all of these other things that have come out.
Yeah, I mean that certainly does help the process along to get be able to send one and have them actually physically scan it. Obviously you still don't get perfection. Like when you get the scan and you have to trying to find a perfect kit that to do it. So it is still a process, but as far as having a good starting point for cloning those old kits, yeah, I mean it's a huge difference. I've only been, I've been here about 10 years. So the technology has been around for most of the time that I've worked there. But I know a lot of the guys, it's just an insane amount of work, especially in the model kit realm. Cause I do a lot of the 64 scale tooling and I know how much work goes into that. But I mean, when you're building the model kit, it's you really got to every part and piece on the engine, all of that kind of stuff, just getting the reference for it. That's why it's so hard to do something that's completely brand new. But yeah, as far as the scanning, it's definitely come a long way. And we always try to make sure, because a lot of, the guys that do our tooling development, it's they're all modelers. So even those old kits, it's well, what was bad about the kit? Before that we can go and revisit, can we have it go together better? Can we add lensed headlights and taillights and pieces like that to really make it build better than you remember,
Yeah. And I've been impressed that there's a couple kits that you guys have gone back and just updated the tooling with new parts in order to get extra mileage out of those tools. Steve had shown at NNLE's the new short bed 72 Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
From the long bed, right? So I was oh, that's cool. That's probably I don't know how many modelers over the years have gone through the trouble to do a conversion to get a short bed, and oh, it'd be fun. It'd be awesome to actually get, just a short bed kit that you can buy.
Yeah, and that's almost one that it's we're man, I can't believe we didn't do that sooner. So I'm sure that's going to be a great seller when it comes out, because all the guys that are hot rodding those trucks want a short wheelbase.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my friend bought he has a 69 and he bought it and he's oh yeah, it's a short wheelbase truck, and it's a really great truck. He was doing an LS swap. And then it was after he bought it, he's oh, it was a long wheelbase that was cut, but they did a good job on it. So he's it's got the look, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm honestly surprised on that one that it was not something that we had done sooner. So I'm really excited to see when that kit comes out, what how well the sales will do, because a lot of the Chevy truck kits, I mean, they just do super well. The 1500, when we brought that one back. I mean, that's become a perennial, just good selling kit. Same with the 3500 dually. So it's fun. And I also love how far everything's come with 3D printing now, where it's I love the fact that it's, we're not just saying oh, build this kit out of the box, giving somebody a canvas to then go and take it and run with it. I love your Dune charger that you just built with the out of our charger kit. Yeah. And I'm oh, that is I mean, that's just the great thing about modeling is just enough to even give a canvas so that people can take it and run with it and see where their imagination goes. I always say in the videos, it's oh, we can't wait to see what you guys do with this, but it's 100% we're so excited when somebody takes a kit or takes an idea and then runs with it and does something totally crazy. It's just super fun to watch.
Yeah, I love that charger kit. I've got another one. I got plans to build another one. So.
Yeah, what have you built? 3 or 4 of them now?
I've built 3 of them. So I'm going to do another one because that is a great kit. It's probably actually one of my favorite kits of all time. I think is that charger.
Wow.
It really builds well. I mean, that was I think Steve worked on the development of that one as well, but it's that one really is a testament of hey, we can do some pretty good modern tooling as well. So
Yeah, that's awesome. What's one kit that has surprised you that you thought was going to be a smash hit, and you're like, nobody bought it?
oh, I'd have to. Yeah, what would be a good example of that? I mean, there's some that surprise us here or there. I'd have to think about that a little bit. Do you got
I guess that's good that maybe nothing jumps out like what.
I mean, there's
nothing too tragic.
I think there's times, there's times where it's like not like a ton of times where we just totally like fall flat on our face with a kit. Like there's kits where we'll know like, okay, like maybe the market, like we might know it's a bit of a risk, like going into it. And it's like, so sometimes we're pleasantly surprised. Sometimes we're like, well, okay, maybe that was about right. Maybe that wasn't like, maybe we shouldn't have done that one, or maybe, but I'm trying, I can't think of one where it's like, we really like went all out and then it just fell like completely flat. We are like, I'm really hoping we're trying a lot of new things now. Like we've got, I keep telling people in this year and next year, it's like, I've been here since 2015 and we are putting like more kits out, I would say, within the next year or two than we put out in the last like 9 years, like together. Wow. I mean, especially as far as like automotive kits and stuff. I mean, there's just like a lot that we're doing, and it's been nice to like kind of have the ability to try different things, really like even partial tooling or revisiting stuff. I mean, there's really a lot coming out. So we're taking some risk, and like, with risk, it's like, yeah, you might get burned a couple times, but I think that's all part of it. I think there'll be things that we're like pleasantly surprised about. So it all kind of like washes out, So
you're talking about go ahead.
Can you talk about the stuff that's being done here in the U.S., the production here in the U.S.? Can you talk about that, or not really?
We're not doing, like, as of right now, we actually we had a source that we were using in the U.S., but they actually ended up closing up shop, so we're not currently producing any in the United States, but it's always something that we're like looking into or trying to see where other sources are. So currently, yeah, we did have one that we were using, but they ended up not being able to fulfill it and closing up shop. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
There's a question in the comments asking how well the 60 Nomads sold. I think the better question is, when's the next production run on the 60 Nomad? Because that one did sell out.
That was one where, like, really like a pleasantly surprised kit. I mean, we knew it was going to do well, but that kit totally blew out. I mean, it was the same thing. Because we do, we do Auto World Store as our online store, and so that's always nice because we get like an instant gauge of like the end consumer and what they like, rather than like just, okay, how long did it take to the distributors to move through it? And I can't remember how fast that one sold out, but I think we've sold out of 2 production runs already for it. And there's a 3rd one on the way. I would have to check the schedule to see like when the next run is, but I know that it's like one where we're like, okay, people are really hungry for this, so we make sure that we're keeping room for it in the production plan. That is one that really like kind of blew out of the water. It was it was a pleasant seller for sure.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry. I know there's been a few people that I know that they're even through 2 production runs, their hobby shop just never got one. They've sold fast enough that the wholesalers ran out before they get down to retail level.
Well, I know there's more coming. I mean, that's a kit that it's probably going to end up being a perennial kit for us, where as long as, if the market is there, like we'll keep doing reorders. There's kits where we'll be able to run several reorders for years on it, and we just have a gauge as to like, you know, when stuff starts to slow down and then when it's time to retire a kit. I'm assuming that one will probably be running for quite a while.
Right.
How long does it typically take to get a kit from the time you start having a discussion like, hey, we should build this, to the time that actually gets developed and then into the stores?
I would say, you know, generally maybe a year. Like it depends on how like complicated it is. Like it's easier to do, you know, it's easier to get out like a curbside re-release or something. That's something that we'd be able to put out more kits faster. But when it's something that's like a full on, like all new kit, yeah, you'll probably have a year in development for it. By the time you actually, you know, decide you're going to do it, pull together all the reference you need, get your factory partners together, do all the rounds of 3D review, all the rounds of, you know, 3D mock-ups and prototyping and test shots, and then making the alterations to the test shots and box art and final product, you know, all of that kind of stuff that goes into it. So it does take some time, but that's why we always want to make sure that we're putting out the best stuff we can. So I did see somebody else in the comment that was like, you know, we were talking earlier, it's like, people will let you know. If you don't do it right, people will let you know about it.
That alternator doesn't look right. It doesn't have the wire on the
yeah, and that's always like, I've said it a million times, but it's like, you know, we're doing so many, like, from cars and sci-fi and all of this stuff, and there's a lot of people on staff that are car guys, but it's like every car that you're doing, it's like you're selling it to a guy who owned that car for 40 years, or, you know, he's turned every bolt on it, he's done everything on it. And it's like, you think about the knowledge that you have on the cars that you've personally wrenched on, and then multiply that by like how many model kits you want to put out in the year, how many new toolings you have to put out in a year. And you're selling to the guy that, like, he knows that car inside and out. Like, he's going to know if the door panel line is wrong. Oh, that's a 72 door panel. It should have been a 71. Like, he's going to know if the radio knob was mounted like a little bit too low. Like that's the thing, is you gotta, yeah, you're selling all of these to people who are just as crazed about their car as you are about, you know, your personal, but you're doing it 100 times over, you know, with everything. So you just really have to like bury yourself in the detail. And that's what takes time when it comes to really like making something all new and finding the good reference and making sure that everything's right. You know, it's not a quick process. Even in this day and age, it's like, you can't just ask AI like, hey, you know, what's a 74 Monaco, whatever look like? It's going to give you like nothing. Like, and it's these older cars, it's hard to find. It's still hard to find reference for them. It's not like, you can't just Google it, you know? So yeah, it's a fun challenge, especially being like, you know, detail. If you're someone who's detail oriented, or you really get into the nitty gritty, like, we're all nerds, like, from the like, whether it's the guys that are doing the sci-fi stuff, like on staff, you know, who are like, they know everything about like the specific enterprise from this specific, like, oh, well, it was this, and then they changed it to this in this episode, and the command center, like, this button moved over here. But us car guys, it's like, we are just as nerdy. Like, but that's the fun of it, you know.
I follow you on Instagram, and I know you went to SEMA last year.
Yeah.
I want to talk about trends a little bit more. What was the one trend that you saw, like, and you went back and said, guys, we got to go build these. We got to make more of these kind of kits.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of really interesting stuff at SEMA. That was the first time I'd actually gotten to go. It was kind of like, you know, I've always been into cars, and that was like an automotive bucket list thing to be able to go to SEMA. I mean, there's a lot in the realm. I would love to do more in the realm of like drifting and that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of like a good market that's not really like well represented, without like, giving away like ideas or anything like that. But I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff like that there. You know, you see the style of builds, like the way that people build resto mods, and you see how those styles have kind of evolved. Like one thing I would say, one thing that I would say kind of helped inform decisions is like we've really seen a big resurgence in like 90s mini trucking. So like we have the Mitsubishi L200 coming out, where we had the Dodge D50, and we got the Mitsubishi license. We tooled the new parts for the grill to do the tilt bed. It's going to have some really cool like mini truck style graphics on it, really great looking box art, and really kind of leaning into that style, because now you're seeing people rebuilding like those 90s cars almost in like the way that it was built back then. There was kind of this like trend of, I went through the Fast and Furious era where it was like everything had crazy body kits and crazy paint and neon lights everywhere and a PlayStation in the dash, and like and then there was a time where people were like, oh, that was so ugly and garish and like way too much. And then everything went to be like OEM plus. Like it was like clean wheels, clean like paint jobs, shaved like everything on the car, like that kind of stuff. And you saw a lot of that like in the Euro crowd, and then that bled its way into like everything, like resto mods, Japanese cars. Now you're starting to see some of that garishness like come back, because people are like nostalgic for their like, oh, I played Need for Speed Underground like when I was growing up, or I played this. And you're starting to see people who are like, I think as everything has become like built for, it's like everything's become formulaic, because everybody's like building something for like an algorithm. Like they're like, I'm building my car so that it gets the most likes on Instagram. So I know I should have this engine and these wheels and this, like, this is going to get me the right. And back then it was like people were building them cars for themselves, even if like everyone else thought it was ugly. And I think people are like wanting that return to like individuality when it comes to like car customizing. So you're seeing a lot of that stuff where it was like, yeah, 5-10 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, don't put that kit back out. It's got this really ugly body kit on it. It looks dated. It looks like, but now it's like you're seeing all these shows like Radwood, and like, but you're seeing this resurgence of like that kind of look. And that was one thing that I saw a lot of that at SEMA, things like mini trucks and things like people are now building their car as if it was built in 2002.
Yeah, well, they recently celebrated, was it the 25th anniversary of the first Fast and Furious?
Yeah, I think so. And it's like, it's one of those things too. It's like, as a car guy, you watch it and you're just like, this is so dumb. Like you're just like, everything they're saying is wrong. Like everything, but it doesn't really matter, because you're just like, you grew up on it. You didn't know that when you were watching it.
You get caught up in the moment, right?
Yeah, and you're just like, you can do the same thing with all the old car movies from the 70s, and it's like, you can watch Dukes of Hazzard and be like, they would have never like made that jump. That car broke in half. Like, but it's that same thing. It's like the nostalgia of it. It doesn't really matter. It's about the feeling that you had when you like first watched it, and people are kind of chasing that. Like nostalgia kind of just carries on through generations. So it's a lot of that where it's like as the years go on, like that kind of moves. And we've always been a company that's like been built on nostalgia. I mean, so there's a lot that you see that's changing again.
That's cool.
I was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago, and I actually saw a Geo tracker.
I saw one. There's one that's driving around here, and it's white, and it has the little like blue and pink graphics on those. And it was in traffic. I was trying to get a picture of it like last week, and it was blurry because I was just like, hitting it with my phone, just trying to get it.
It was on his last leg, but
it was one of those that's, you're just like, yeah, back in the day I would have been like, oh, Geo tracker, like who would want to drive that? Now I'm like, every SUV's gotten so big, I'm like, oh, I would love to have one of those, just to like, it'll fit through anything, just crawl around like a trail with it, like simple, fun. Like, yeah, they were great. I think it's like, maybe there is a little rose-colored glasses too that people have when it comes to that kind of stuff, but you're just like, I just want simple again, you know?
Right. Suzuki Samurai as well, right?
I really loved the Samurai. Yeah, that's that I think that's one that would be, you know, would be super fun. So, but I actually probably liked the Samurai more than the Tracker back then, but now I'm like, I would take either one.
Not that I would actually drive it, but it's just fun to look at.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like everybody wants like a key truck or a K truck now, because it's like you see like, it's like, oh, I can get these for like $5,000, and you know, and it's got a full size dump bed on it, and I was like, why am I driving this big 4-door, you know, 5-foot bed? Like, I can buy this thing and get and it'll be super fun.
Maybe we'll see a Kai truck in your future.
Yeah, I'm trying to my fiance has been talking about, like, she's like, oh, we should get a golf cart, or we should get something, because we have a big hill like in our house. She's like, oh, that would be nice. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe we need landscaping. Maybe we'll get a truck with a dump bed, and we'll just drive everybody down the hill with that.
Top speed's like 35 miles an hour, right?
Yeah. Just don't get on any highways and you're fine.
One automotive trend I'd like to see Round 2 do more stuff is overlanding rigs.
Yeah,
but of course,
I think there is a good market for that. I mean, it's definitely something that's on our short list of like it would be nice to do. Even something where it's like, if you put out the base and you know, like, if you put out the car, the market will take some of it and run with it. You'll get like all the 3D printers, and people will take it and do what they want to do. So it's kind of like finding those kind of models. It's like, what's a million ways that somebody wants to build it? And and if you release that, then people will find a million different ways to build it. So
does that factor into your thinking? Like, if there's something, like, how many different ways a kit can be built, is that a determining factor?
Yeah, I think so, because it's not always with every kit, but I think in some ways it's like, we see things like, you know, like the Chevy 1500 kit that was out, and we put out we did the updated S10 kit. And kind of when you're making decisions like that, you're like, okay, well, a real S10, it's like, guys drag race them, guys off-road them, guys do mini trucks out of them. Like, there's so many different ways to build it in real life. It's like such a versatile vehicle that when you're doing a model kit, it just makes sense to be like, well, guys are going to be like, well, I want to buy one to do an off-road one. I want to buy one to do a lowrider. I want to buy one to do a drag truck. And so when you're thinking about like it, because it's not cheap to tool a kit by any means. So if you can do something that like is that canvas that somebody can then take and run with it, that's what's great about modeling compared to doing like a die-cast tool or a slot car or something like that, is it's like you really are just giving people the canvas to start with. And so I think picking a good canvas is a good way to think about it.
That's cool.
I totally agree.
I think that answers the question that a bunch of people did in the comments asked, but is there a point in time where Round 2 considers putting 3D printed stuff in the kit from the factory? I mean, I saw some people in here with PE and things like that, and there does become a cost point at that where you start putting stuff in there. Now you're talking about a $50 model kit instead of a $35 one.
Right. Yeah. I think it's something that's like, you know, it's stuff that we have talked about. It's kind of one of those that's like, it's hard to do. It's still probably hard to do cost effectively at a major scale, like as far as like how many kits that we do. Right. If you think about how long it takes to 3D print a part or something, I mean, obviously you could do 3D print farms and stuff, but it's not like you got a lot of like cost up front when it comes to tooling something. And then, you know, you kind of like, it'll take you a while, but like you get that back. Whereas like, I think 3D printed parts when you're doing it on mass like that it would be a little more expensive. But I mean, it is an idea that like, we've certainly talked about, you know, so maybe something for like smaller runs, exclusive kits, that kind of stuff where you want to add something into it. That might be a fit. We've done things like that with resin before, resin figures that go, if we're going to do like a smaller run with it. We've done that in like 1/18 scale die cast where we've included resin figures of, the Blues Brothers or something like that. So it's certainly something that we've talked about. I don't think we have the exact like, oh, this is the release where we really need to do 3D printing for it. But it is something that's on our radar, as we look at like how cost affects it.
Right. And that's really the ultimate, because I know you hear that a lot at shows. Oh, your kits are so expensive these days, blah, 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 blah. But once you start throwing, more and more parts or, expensive exotic stuff into your kit, then your price is obviously going to go up.
Right. Yeah. So it's the more parts and pieces that you put into it will drive the price up, and that's why it's good to get multiple releases out of a kit, because in general, I mean it's just it's very expensive to cut to cut big tooling like that for model kits.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about how licensing works, because I've always been interested. Do you like licensing companies approach you and say, hey, we've got a TV show and do you want to buy this license, or do you go out and pitch to other companies like, hey, we'd like to be able to, how does it work?
There's a bit of both. So, I mean, there are times where, somebody might approach us and say, hey, we're looking for a partner in diecast or a partner in model kits. This is, are you interested? There is that, but there's also, where we will seek out, like if we want to do something or do a license. There's a big convention every year that we go to. That's out in Las Vegas. It's called the Licensing Expo. And that's like almost every major licensor is there. So there's a lot of like, we'll go there and look at trends and see what people are doing. And it's like, everybody's there. And there's always these licensing companies that kind of will manage bigger licensing contracts. So you might talk to that company and they might be managing licensing for, multiple car manufacturers, or there might be a company that's managing licensing for multiple different movies, if you want to do like a certain movie. And then you kind of will figure out what you want to do. We'll figure out the plan, and then every licensor is different. If it's a small licensor, there might be a case where it's like, you can get it done a little cheaper, but like the bigger licenses, it's like you're gonna have your licensing fees that will come off of every kit, and then you'll usually have like a minimum guarantee where it's like you have to make so much sales like each year to pay the minimum guarantee for what the license is. So there's a lot of like kind of that will go into it. So it's always like a thing where we are you're going and managing which licensing contracts you have, which ones you're like, okay, we'll run it for a year or a couple of years, retire it, because you're going to be paying on those contracts every year, no matter what. So, and you can only put out so much product in a year. So it's always kind of a to do, and then figuring out like, okay, what's the guarantee, all that stuff plays into it. And we have like 120 different licensing contracts. So we have full-time licensing. So it's
we're starting to lose Chad.
Oh wow. Hold on, Chad.
But yeah.
You're freezing up a little bit there.
I'm saying I'm the one with a thunderstorm out the window here.
Oh,
dang.
Wonders of live television.
This is not pre-recorded.
That's right. If it was, we'll edit this part out.
Well, maybe he'll be able
to. As I say, if he pops back in, we'll throw him back up here. I think that's what he was just talking about. It was an important factor in the decision making is the fact that like licenses aren't a perpetuity, right? We have a GM license and it lasts forever. Now those things are on a 3-year, 5-year contract, and I mean obviously you're going to re-up something that broad, but I think the other thing about 3D printing is the fact that if you started putting identifiable objects into the model kits, you probably have to license the 3D printing stuff. So
yeah, it sounds like it's kind of a financial juggling act to try to like balance.
I think the day is coming that 3D printing is going to be regulated with licensing. I think the day is coming.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I think that because in the comments here we had a bunch of people saying that like Edward and things like that do profile packs that have 3D cockpits and PE and whatnot in it, but those are also $60 model kits. Do you want to pay $60 for a Bluesmobile or not? Because that's what you're up against. It's the same argument of single-use model kits. Bell Kits makes a lot of rally cars. They make 1 or 2 versions with different decals in them, and those kits cost $60. Well, now they're pushing $70 with inflation and everything like that. Is that something that you want to pay for?
Right. Absolutely.
Well, darn, that was a little bit of a bummer that lost Chad. What were the things that you guys were interested in asking Chad about that we haven't covered yet? If there's any questions that you drop in the chat, if there's anything interesting. But I don't know if Mr. Tester, Mr. Duff, was there anything that you wanted to know more about?
Oh, I say the thing that I was curious about, and I got the answer for, was to whether or not the Bluesmobile and the don't call it the Back to the Future truck would be full detail kits or not. I think that's probably. I mean, the Mac is obviously going to be full detail. You're not doing a curbside tractor trailer, but I think the ability of those two things to also be full detail is probably good.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure
there he is.
He's back.
What time for my internet to drop?
Somebody in the comments said you must have Spectrum. So
yeah, I might. Yeah, I think I do have Spectrum. Actually, they know. Yeah.
Chad, I was curious. If I gave you a blank check and you didn't have to care if you sold any but one to yourself, what would be the that you would personally like to have to build of your own, all brand new kit?
Oh, the kit that I would personally like to have. Well, I mean, I would love to have a full, obviously like a full kit of like my car would be a great one. I know that there's several out there, but like one that has really cool parts in it would be a really cool kit to do.
40.
Yeah, that would be a fun one. I think it just, a blank check, man, that's so hard because there's so many cars that I would love to have a kit for or build it or just have options for. What is if you had a blank check, what would you have me build with it?
Let's see. Actually, the one new kit that I've been jonesing for a long time, like everybody asks me, I'm always like, oh, you should do this, is the Jeep pickups and Cherokees from the 60s.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get so many different variations of it. I think they started was in 61, and that same basic chassis body style ran up through almost the 80s.
Yeah.
Pickups and Grand Cherokees, and with a lot of different variations in body, grills and bumpers and stuff like that. So I feel like you get a lot of mileage out of a kit like that.
Is that the year where the the Twister truck, the yellow one from Twister?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah. Because I always thought, I was like, that would be a great model kit, like a Dusty's truck.
Yeah.
I always thought that was super cool when I was a kid. I think I had a little yellow Matchbox truck
Right.
from, I think it came out in like 84. I was born in 87, so my dad must have like held on to it or something to give it to me. But it's one that I still have that I like took through the sandbox, and it's all like rusty and messed. So I think when I watched Twister and I saw that yellow Jeep, even though it wasn't the same truck, I was like, oh, I really like that because it reminded me of the Matchbox I had.
Yeah, and Revell did one, but it's not. I mean, it's got a lot of inaccuracies of the body, and it's not really made to be able to do all the backdating.
Right? Yeah.
Variations to the. So that would probably be my one new kit. How about you guys, Miss James and James?
Good, James.
Well, I was gonna say, if we're gonna do a Jeep, I think we need to do an XJ Cherokee, right? That's the Jeep to do, right? The 80s, 90s one. That's the off-roading, cut the fenders off, put a trophy chuck underneath of it. Well, you just did one with a pickup version of it, so preaching to the choir on that one.
Yeah, that's one where it's like, again, I think everybody's liked them, everybody's had one, so it would be that was another one. My sister bought one in the UP for $400, and the turn signals didn't work, and so we would just there wasn't a lot of traffic in the UP, so she would just put her hazards on when she was going to turn left. We just kind of let people know where we were going. But I even remember there was huge snowy hills, and she got it for a winter beater, and the roads would ice over up there. And I remember one time we were driving around on a Sunday morning, and it was particularly icy, and she was going, I don't know, maybe 10 miles an hour, just barely down this hill. And my buddy was he's on the phone, and we're sitting in this old clapped out XJ, and she hits the brakes and just nothing happens. The truck's just it just keeps going, and we're headed right towards this snowbank. And my buddy's on the phone. He's like, hang on a second, we're crashing. And it just smashes into the snowbank at the slowest speed ever. But I think everybody has a story with those. That would be
those things are really start to appreciate value now.
Yeah, you're also seeing companies that are I forget the name of it, but there's a company out there that's doing full restorations on them, almost like a resto mod, but it's it almost looks OEM, it might be a slight lift or something like that on it, but they are commanding pretty serious prices for those restored ones, which is funny because you can still find them cheap. I mean, the nice ones you're going to pay money for, but they ran that from 84 to 2001 or something. It was a really long run.
Yeah, I would buy one of those. I'd probably buy several.
Yeah, that's what we need. Buy several.
How about you, Mr. Tester?
I know you see everything behind me, but I'm true Mopar guy. So 72 Roadrunner.
Okay. Yeah.
67, somebody else mentioned it, 67 Notchback Cuda.
Okay. Yeah.
And 2018 Dodge Demon.
Okay. That's one that we've heard a lot. I think with the Charger doing so well, that's one that when I was at the Detroit show where and I think a couple of you guys were there maybe. That was one that people kept mentioning because they loved the Charger so much.
Yeah, wide body Hellcat Charger or Challenger. I mean, that's
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I would say we're going to talk multi-use Mopar that's modern. Durango, Hellcat, police Charger, police vehicle. I whisper that to Steve every time I see him. You guys have a modern Charger, and the obvious next thing, they don't make the Charger anymore. Well, I mean, I guess they technically do. That the Durango. It's an RT, it's a Hellcat, it's a police car. There's three uses in one. Ta-da! I fixed that problem.
Right. We need to make it you can build a second car that's on the highway, and the Durango's just right on its bumper.
Yeah, exactly right. Weaving in and out of my diorama. No turn signals required.
What do you guys think of the new Ram SRT pickup that they just announced?
I think it's really cool. Yeah, I was kind of reading the article on it recently. I think it looks great. I like some of the is it the Rumblebee package or something that they're bringing back. Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, that thing's pretty badass, actually.
None of us can afford one, but that'll be.
Well, that's why we have little ones, because we can't afford the big
Right,
ones.
exactly.
Yeah, that's why we need a small one. We need a little one. Put it on the shelves.
You can paint it however you want.
I guess the question that I think a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but I have, is why have there not been any like modern pickup trucks? Because like the F-150 is perennial best-selling car in America. And I know there's not a direct correlation between what sells in real life and what would sell in scale modeling, but there's so many things you could do with that. There's so many things you can do with the Silverado, the TRX Ram, and all the corresponding things of that. Like there were, and I know this is like when we were kids, right? But there were annuals of the Silverado and annuals of Rangers and all those things, and then it came to a head in like 1997 or so, and then that was it. There's a one here, one there. Meng did the F-250 and all that thing, but like it seems like it would. There are enough variations of it to justify we need 3 to 5 versions of this model kit to justify the tooling thing on all those things, but yet they don't exist.
Yeah, I think it's just been because we've done a decent amount of modern pickups in 64 scale, and I think it's just something where we've certainly had them on our short list of like several ones that were like, this would be a good one to do, that would be a good one to do. I think it's just there's always been like another kit that we were like, okay, well, if you could do this or this, we've like something else that just like bumped ahead of it. But I know that there are several like modern pickups that we have on our short list that we would like to do. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't do one in the next couple of years here. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It's definitely like it's not a blind spot for us. It's like we know that there's a good market for it. I think it's just been like we haven't pulled the trigger on like this is the one to do instead of like this kit or that kit, instead of doing the 3. Especially like it's just really hard to do like when you do brand new vehicles compared to something else. It's like it just takes more work and more time and that kind of stuff. But
well, you guys did the Bronco. I mean that was
that was the and that one's been a pretty good kit for us. And I think there are a couple trucks where we've been really close to pulling the trigger on doing them, and then we were like something else like took precedence or whatever that we decided to move forward with. But it's certainly not fallen on deaf ears. So
I can imagine you guys sitting around playing New Tool Death Match. Which one of these?
Oh yeah, I mean because there's
bring them off again.
Yeah, I mean you have whatever the budget is for the year, and it's like you've got diecast, you got model kits, you've got sci-fi and automotive slot cars, like all of that kind of stuff where you're trying to figure out, well, what's the best thing to do, and then when you make your decision, you're like, okay, if this was if this was your last dollar, is that how you would spend it? Like that's how we kind of like. But then again, it's like it's fun to try new things. So I think we've been on a wave of discovery and trying new tools and doing more new tooling. I would not be surprised if there's not a modern pickup, in the next couple of years.
I was saying it's IPMS judging on a budget, right? Because sometimes we'll get into can I judge at nationals? It's like, okay, so we've agreed that this is first place, and here's these 3 things that are second, third, blah blah blah. Is this better than this? No. All right, well that's second place, right? It's the same sort of argument. Like, hey, can we do this or this? But is this going to sell more than that? Well, no. All right.
Yeah. There's always that, or it's if we've got. Again, like if there's a license or something that we're like, oh, we want to jump on this this new license or this new thing, it's like you're always kind of figuring that into there as well. But I think there'd be a lot to do as far as modern trucks go. So
somebody in the comments mentioned the Cybertruck. I don't know if you want to post it.
No scale dumpsters.
No, I like just throw a few flat sheets of styrene in the box. Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be a good first scratch build,
Some laser cut sheets.
I know that you may not have been there because you're here, but I know Round 2 was at Wonderfest this past weekend down in Louisville.
Yep.
Is Round 2 going to have a presence at IPMS Nationals? Because, I mean, it is in Fort Wayne. It's right down the street, technically.
Yes. So yeah, Aaron went to Wonderfest this year. I went there a couple of years ago. It was like a super fun time. But I didn't go this year. So Aaron Skinner was there. He showed off some stuff. And then IPMS this year, we've purchased pretty big amount of booth space. That'll be in, I don't remember the name of the room, but it's kind of it's near the registration area, but we'll have a pretty big space there. We'll be showing off some of the new stuff we're working on. We'll probably be doing some selling there as well. So some of the new kits that we have coming out, we're going to sell those at IPMS. So it was kind of that thing where we decided this year that we're like, it's so close to home for us.
Yeah,
we've got so much new stuff in the works. So it felt like the right year to show up there and have a fairly big presence. So yep, we will be there.
Cool.
I'm looking at some of the other comments.
Elvira. Pop Elvira.
Beer truck and trailer sets. You got any beer licensing?
We don't currently. We did a couple of years ago. We did we had Miller Coors licensing a few years ago, like High Life, and but it's always, some of those are difficult because it's like if you're selling to like Hobby Lobby or so it's sometimes a little more difficult to do like beer licensing. But we have done it in the past. We don't currently have one, but it's something that we might pick up again.
What kind of volumes does it like? They're like, oh, it has to hit. Do you have like a minimum of volumes? Like you have to be able to sell X amount, or before we can consider doing it, or?
Yeah, I think it depends on. It depends on like what the kit is or what the cost of tooling is. Like
Okay.
if we know if it's something that's like an all new tool from scratch, like we're going to have to be able to get several releases out of it. We're going to have to be able to do hopefully multiple production runs of each release. Like the exact,
it's got to be a big deal, right?
Yeah. The exact production numbers can it's either got to be something that's like we can get a lot out of it because it's got different trim levels or different options that we can do. And so we can, like with the Charger, we could do the RT, we could do the police version, we could do the Hellcat. And that was like able to help us. Same with the Bronco. There was like the Outer Banks. We were able to tool all these different variations. Or if it's got something that just has enough of a mass appeal or like a big license, or maybe it's a pop culture kind of hit where it's like, okay, you're going to have to tool it and you can only do it as one thing, like something like the Sweet Tooth, but it's like,
right.
Yeah, Bluesmobile, that kind of thing. And that's where we might come to the decision of like when we did the Green Hornet car, it's like, well, we could do a half-butted Green Hornet and a half-butted Imperial, or we could do the Green Hornet car right, And so we decided like, okay, we're going to do Black Beauty as Black Beauty only and not kind of like fake it, because we kind of figured we're like, yeah, it's based on this, but really everything is different. It was almost like doing an entirely different tool. So that's something that like might come into play where we're like, okay, well, if the license is big enough, then even though we can only do it as one thing, we'll try to do that. So usually that's kind of what comes into it, because we know it's going to be several releases, out there. So if you want to build multiples, like definitely, like we love you. We love the support, especially on all new kits. So.
I know that Jeff Allison recently joined Round 2.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he'd come from Hot Wheels, right? So
he did. Yeah, he's recently left actually, but yeah, he did some pretty great box art and stuff with us. So
Yeah. I really like some of his new box art and stuff. The one that I think I saw a preview for is the old Hardcastle McCormick.
Coyote?
Or
Yeah,
it's
it's called the Impastore
okay.
kit. So it's a golf collector tin. I will be showing that kit in the next video. So
Okay.
it's close to production here. So I'll
Yeah.
have that one. The video will probably go up in the next day or two.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that box art and I was like, oh, that's really sweet looking box art.
Yeah. So it's a collector tin for golf's 125th anniversary. So it's got some pretty cool decals in it, and it's a fun kit. It's kind of like, I think the body was based on like a old GT40 kit, and then it's an amalgamation. It's like it's not really the Hardcastle McCormick car because the motor and everything's not right. So it was kind of
Right.
MPC sort of made this. So that's why we kind of called it the Impastore, as like doing the release for it, because it's a mashup of a bunch of different things, but it's a fun kit that hasn't been out in a long time. So
Yeah.
we thought it was worth a re-release.
How do you choose to do it collector tin or not?
Sometimes it's like, usually if it's a collector tin, it'll be something that's like a good secondary license, maybe something that has like a collector base to it. So like we've done them with Coca-Cola, we've done them with golf, USPS, where we're like, okay, we know that there's, even outside of model kits, there's like a Coke collectors, there's golf collectors, there's USPS stamp collectors. So that's something that might go into it when we decide to do a collector tin. So if it would be maybe on a lunchbox or could go on a display shelf where, yeah, you're going to have guys who build it, but you might have guys that just want the box to put as part of their collection. So that's usually what we'll do, like a collector tin. It's not like a hard and fast rule, but generally that's what we've done.
Nice. What is the most exciting new reissue that you're excited about?
I mean, I've really been loving all the like 90s cars coming back. So like I loved all the turbo Dodge stuff that we had put out, like the Beretta.
The Beretta's cool. Like I think I want to build a Beretta GTC at some point. I've got one of the original kits. I probably should get one of the new ones too. But so I'm like, I've had it so long. Now it's cool again, and I'm like, yeah, I think I want.
Yeah, I know.
Like a more modern, take on it.
It was kind of one of those where, well, actually, because I mentioned like my friends who had raced Lemons before we built our car, they actually raced a Beretta. It was another guy that had built a Beretta for Lemons, which I wasn't particularly a big fan of Berettas like when they were new, but now I'm like, yeah, I kind of like them. Like I'd buy one if I found a nice one. So I've been liking seeing all those come back because I remember that era of because I was born in '87, so it was like I grew up through the '90s, and I remember those AMT kits in the '90s, and a lot of them they were like fun subject matter, but like a lot of them didn't have great box art. They like, it's just like it's one that's it's nice to see them like come back with like kind of that retro modern sort of look, leaning into the 90s and seeing people like now who are nostalgic for it and how they build it. Because you look at a lot of those and it's like, oh yeah, well, it's only been released one time because AMT did it when the Beretta was a new car, and it was never, I don't know that it was ever built with that kind of sense of like, oh, how am I going to customize it, or that sense of nostalgia. It was just like a new vehicle. So that whole series has been good. I think we announced we will have the Stealth coming back too.
Nice.
I was just literally gonna say Dodge Stealth. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one also.
There's some cool 90s. A lot of cool 90s MPC kits had wide bodies, like IMSA style.
Yeah, I liked a lot of those.
Those are, I think they're kind of cool. That would be a neat series to re-release. Like the Cavalier had a really It's actually a nice kit, the Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah.
With it had a wide body optional kit. I think the Ford Probe had a wide body.
The Fiero had like a crazy like roof scoop.
Yeah.
With a big wide body. That was part of like when when we re-released the Celica Supra, that was one where we kind of found it back there and looked at it. And I'm like, this wide body actually doesn't look bad. Like I was like, it's kind of close. It's like very similar to how guys are wide bodying their cars now. So when we decided to do the re-release for that, it's like, oh, this is actually a cool little kit. And you're kind of building it for a different reason now than back then. So I'm sure we will like revisit some more of those. There's a lot of things where it's like parts got lost and that kind of stuff as we go and like look through the different kits, but I'm sure we'll revisit a few more of those. Like another one was we did the BRE Datsun truck,
right?
And it had the California Sunshine wide body, and we'd done all these iterations, and it was like we had the California Sunshine there, and we're like, oh well, that looks like a modern track truck or like a drift truck or something. So let's put it out. Let's use our BRE licensing, and that's done like super well. It has great box art. So yeah, it's I'm sure we'll find some more of those to put out in the near future. Aaron's he's pretty big on the 90s re-releases and stuff too. So we've been seeing a lot of those kind of come back out through him as well.
Well, if you need anybody to do any box art for any of those cool 90s cars,
we know a guy.
We know who to call. Yeah.
I think they look cool with like sort of like fantasy, road racing liveries,
Yeah, I agree. I think those are, it's a fun nod to like maybe some fantasy with nods to historical cars or, full on crazy. So, we're our ears are always open. So, and there's a lot of tool movements and stuff that go on where we're like, hey, you know what is that tool like? I think we've run a lot of stuff, but then there's things where we're like, yeah, well, we forgot we had that one. Let's see what it's like, So,
do you guys have a big stash of like old tool, it's like old parts and,
Yeah, I mean, we have like a warehouse that has like all of our tooling in it. So it's a overseas kind of warehouse that we go and then you can go and like pull from it and see what you have. But it's, even if you physically, like a lot of these tools have changed hands so many times. So it's like, you might have it on a spreadsheet, but if it hasn't been run in 20 years and you go and try to inject it and see what it looks like or open it up and you're like, so we're always, just because we have it doesn't necessarily mean that like we can release it. So there's a lot of that where we kind of will go through and they all take cleanup or retooling or just like fixes here or there to get them back out.
As a model car builder, I've always dreamed like the ultimate fantasy would be able to like have access to the entire library model kits.
There's my cat.
Drop parts from and customize kits.
Oh yeah, I know. That was it was kind of when we had the parts department for a while, and it was there would be you could always kind of tell if guys were calling in and they're like, yeah, I lost like 4 sets of this one wheel. You're like, oh, okay.
Every seems to want. Are there custom parts that you think are like, man, we should be doing these?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that are on a radar, without like giving anything away until it's like it's ready. But I mean, I think there's things where it's like you kind of look at like, okay, what's being done nowadays to some of these cars, and what's being done by modelers, what's being done in real life, and how can we revisit some of this old subject matter and like enhance it or refresh it. So I'm sure you guys will be seeing some stuff from us that has some of that with it, where it's might add new parts or pieces or change something out. I mean, one example is like, we were doing like the Mitsubishi L200, and it was like, well, we can add a tilt bed, or we can add, this kind of parts or pieces to it. But you'll probably see some more of that within the next year or so.
LS swap, right?
LS swap. Yeah, more LS swap. Is there an automotive trend that you're like, man, I hope that never comes back?
Yeah, what's
It would die.
it's I think there was which one? Rat rods?
Whoa.
Like there was a rat rod for sale down the road, and I was like, I stopped by to look at it the other day, and it was like a true rat rod. Like the guy, like I wasn't even sure what all parts it was made out of, and it was like, call for price, and I'm like, I don't know if this guy wants 2,000 or 20,000 for this thing. So I was just like, yeah, but yeah, as far as automotive trends that I don't want to see come back, I mean, it's funny that like I think I would have said before that I was like, oh, like for a long time I was like, I don't know about like the kind of garish tuner cars, like where we were kind of like, I talked about that like being like, oh, I really thought those were cool, and then I didn't like, I was like, no, that's not how people are doing it. Like if you do that, people are going to laugh at you. And then now it's like I'm nostalgic for it. So it's funny that there's like so much stuff like that I'm like, I feel like even some of the bad trends, I'm just like, I just want to see something with personality, So it's like, and I think when it comes to the form of modeling, I'm like, well, you're not really destroying a real car. So just do whatever you want if it makes you happy, So it's like I'm, like spinner rims. I was like, for a while, I was like, yeah, I remember when that was a thing. But now I'm like, I would long to see some spinner rims on the road again. Why not? Like, just to have something that's different. I think a lot of people were like that with like, the boogie vans. Like everyone was like, oh my gosh, those hideous, like shag carpet stained, like nasty boogie vans. And then we saw this like resurgence of those. And it was like, almost like when they came back again, it was like, they kind of had like a heavy metal sort of like flavor to them because they were like rotted, and like everybody who had them looked like a biker. And it's like now you're like, okay, these are really cool. Whereas like I think they were really hated for a while. So without giving you like a politician answer of like every car is beautiful, I'm I think there's a lot of that stuff where I'm just like, hey, if you're being like creative about it, like that's what I would like to see. I mean, I guess you could say something like you mentioned, like LS swaps and stuff. Like I like LS swaps a lot. On occasion, it's like, all right, I've seen a lot of those. Like, do we got to LS swap every car? Do we have to LS swap like rotary RX-7s all the time? I'm like, just get a Corvette, But at the same time, I'm like, hey, you made a car that you don't have to rebuild all the time. So I guess it's I don't know. There's your non-answer.
What would be an innovation that you think would most help modelers?
An innovation that would most help them?
Yeah.
I think just the like any way that you can lower the barrier to entry of like your first model. It might be probably like innovations in paint, like in being able to lay down like a good, solid, nice paint job. I mean, you can do things like, you can inject in color and that kind of stuff. And that helps for like a beginning modeler. But I think a lot of modelers, it's like when you first start out, you're like, you're getting glue everywhere. You're like, but if you can get good paint down, that makes or breaks it, So I think anything that's like, if we could get some good innovations as far as like really getting good paint down and having like solid, easy ways to do it. Yeah, they kind of mentioned in the comments, one guy said a vinyl wrap material would be nice, which yeah, is a great idea, doing something like that. But I would say like, I think that's where a lot of beginning modelers get discouraged. I know when I was a kid, it was like, that was where you're like, oh, I put all this work in and you know, I couldn't get the paint right. And it's like, yeah, when you're older, you're like, oh yeah, I got to polish it. I got to sand it. I got to do all this other stuff. But really for your first model, it's like, you're not really expecting to do all of that, you know?
Yeah.
So that would probably be my.
There's a learning curve to build the models.
For sure.
What's hard for, I think, for a lot of beginning models is you probably have to build about 10 before you start to figure out like how to not really screw things up, you know, like, because it's just kind of trial and error to sort of, and you know, there's a lot of money involved, like to buy a kit and to buy paint and to buy glue and to go through that. And I think a lot of people, they kind of like after 2 or 3 failed attempts, they're like, I just put stuff back in the box, and they get frustrated and they never really get over the hump.
And the tools to make it easier, it's like when you're building your first model, like those are all expensive. Like the first one, like to have the right tools for it to make it work well, it's like you'll spend a lot of money on the first one. Like after that, once you have the stuff, it's like it's not a particularly super expensive hobby, but like it's to really do it well. Like, yeah. So I mean, there's things where we've tried to like on Auto World Store, it's like, you know, carrying things like cheaper toolkits, you know, that are like, yeah, it's not like if you're big into modeling, like maybe it's not exactly the kit that you would buy, but it's got your sprue cutters and your file and like your polishing cloth and all that kind of stuff in it. And it's like, if we can sell this to somebody for $8 and get them like at least enough to like, to start. I think that's like anything that lowers that initial barrier to entry. Because once you build a good model, I think then you're hooked. But like you said, if it takes 10 models to get a good model, it's like you're gonna lose them before you had them. So I think anything in that realm of just get something good and have it be easy.
Maybe you don't have like a precise figure on this, but I remember reading once, it was an interview that Revell had done, that they had they'd figured out that a high percentage of what they sold model kit wise was sold to, you know, I use the air quotes here, like casual builders, people that only buy one model at a time and they go through that. Does Round 2 have any kind of like aspect of that? Like, because the comment section over here has gone crazy all night long, and I'm not reading a lot of it because it would just be like me telling you what kits to produce for 2 hours. But people like us who are hosting a model podcast are like that 0.5% of the most informed consumer that you have. We know what's coming. Some of us down here make box art, know what's coming even further in advance. But like, does Round 2 probably still primarily sell to, you know, would you say the high percentage of what you sell is to just the guy who picks up a kit on the weekends and stuff like that, rather than the lunatic fringe who watches the monthly video and puts 500 comments in there about, you know, what you don't make and what you do make and all the nonsense that goes on there?
Yeah, I think knowing exactly for models, I would say it probably leans more towards like your moderate to hardcore modeler that buys a lot of them. But I think if we look at like when we look at demographics through like our online sales, you know, I would say generally across all of our product lines, it's about like a 50-50 split between like a new customer and like a returning customer. So there is a lot of it. Like, we know the hardcore modeler is like our bread and butter, you know, but like, and a lot of what we do leans on that like subject matter. That's why we do a lot of like the re-releases and that kind of stuff. But there is a big market out there for modeling, and that's kind of what I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is that I think that there's people that would want to go and build other models, and that's why we try new things, you know, and we will also branch outside of that, because I think the market is like, your subject matter is going to make a big difference as to like who your market is, like, necessarily. So we like want to make sure that we're always like the guys that have supported us forever, that we continue to do all of the re-releases and those kind of subject matters and the things that they've been asking for. But then also like, let's make sure that we keep growing the hobby in other ways so that we can do that. We can lower that barrier to entry. We can get that kit where this will continue on and on, like past the point where we're all doing it. It's just a fun. I think there's not a lot of things. People are searching for things where they can sit down and take their time and like disconnect from like the constant feed and barrage of stuff. And that's like, so it is a big thing to pick up because you need some patience and like it's hard to find moments like that these days. So I think it is important to have, to show modeling to people who haven't done it before.
Yeah. I was really impressed. I think probably 2017, 2018, I thought model cars were probably just, on its way out. The only people still building models were old guys. And I thought like there's just going to be a shrinking customer base. But then it seemed like from during the pandemic, it would kind of changed. And Round 2 has really grown.
Yeah.
The amount of new kits that you are re-releasing or building from all new is like expanding every year. And I've been surprised. It seems like things have pivoted. You found newer audiences, younger audiences. Like, how do you see the model car industry going over the next 10 years?
I think I do see, like, I think there was that, like you mentioned, like where everybody had that moment to kind of be at home and like reflecting for a while. And I think it was a pattern change for a lot of people who were just going. And then it's like, oh, well, I need something to do with my time. So like, yeah, we saw like a big resurgence there. It was like, and everybody, it wasn't just modeling. It was like, everybody was baking sourdough bread and doing all kinds of like, whatever they could find to do to fill their times. But I think, as I kind of mentioned, like with how the real car world is going right now, it's like you still see, it's like, yeah, every year some new companies like, well, we're not going to have manual transmissions anymore. We're not going to do this. But then you still see the people who are like really driven by it and like what is now coming back, like where people are trying to break away from the everyday and like make something personal. And so I think if you can make the product that is going to grab that person where they can like realize that vision or build that car that they're like, man, I wish I would see somebody do it this way, that I think the market can continue to flourish and do well. And you see like other types of modeling that do really good. I mean, like the, like the Gundam kits and, all the like little Pokemon like kits and my generation of like the millennial collector. It's like, we are kind of like super nostalgic, very similar to like the like Gen X's. So I think it's just, you just have to build the right product for them. You have to like kind of bring them back into it. And like, now's the time to do it because everybody had that moment where they're like, they were able to find something that they could fill their time with.
Guys, I see we're at time here.
Yeah.
I can talk all night long, but I'm sure Chad was like, is this show almost over? Because I probably want to get to bed.
Yeah. Somebody was asking how many times I get interrupted in restrooms, people making kit requests. I thought they were asking if I had to go to the restroom at first. But.
Impersonal question to be asking at this time of night. So as we go out the door here, we have one question we'll always ask everybody. But I will say that I saw in the comments go by 6768 Cougar. Yes, please go. I've already paid the freight of buying an original one, so I've sacrificed to the model gods for that. So go ahead and clone one of those. Please get Kevin Smith as 71 Riviera before he loses his mind over there.
Yeah.
I think the only problem with that is it's a very, kind of one-off kind of, kit. There's not boat tails will existed for 2 years. But
they are beautiful though. I love boat tails.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd build the Living Daylights out of one, make it like the 70 Monte Carlo with a separate frame and all that. That'd be fantastic. But the question we always ask on the way out is it was stole it from that podcast. I don't use it anymore. It's called the Magnus Open Build, which would be your Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, I know you're building a pole barn and a real car and stuff like that, but if there's something in the stash packed away in the boxes that you would want to be able to build, and know your personal car is not the answer to this question, is there something that you have that you would really, really want to, achieve in the sense of building a specific kit, or maybe a series of kits, maybe of, all the Hot Wheels original 16 or whatever that might be?
Yeah. I mean, you guys have probably guessed from my hat and everything, I'm big into I'm big into import cars. So, I mean, I think a lot of it is I see a lot of really good builders who have built those, and I would like to see more of those built up. So I think I would like to, if I was going to build up like everything in my stash, I would like to get like the cars that I've had throughout the years, or the cars that I want, and really build them in the way that I always envisioned and couldn't. Like, so, I had a Lexus IS 300 for a while, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to do a bigger turbo, and really build it up and do these certain wheels and this certain body kit and this certain stance. Like, there were all these like cars that it was like, oh, I always wanted to do this, and like I didn't quite get there with it, and then I moved on to the next thing. I think I would kind of want to build the fleet of vehicles that I would have like in my garage, and kind of get them all on my desk. Cause I've tried to make it a point, like as I've bought real cars, it's like, let's try something new. Like, I'll buy a Volvo wagon. I've never owned a Swedish car before. I'll have an Audi. I want a German car. I want an older car. I'll buy a Datsun. So I always had this thing that was like, oh, if I could have one car for every category, like this is what I would do. So I think that my model kit build garage would be very much like that. It'd probably be 20 to 30 cars in all different categories, just done the way that like I would want to do them. The one off-roader, the one that's like a drift car, the one that's like a VIP show car, a mini truck, all of that. And just that one magnum opus for each like category.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, oddly, James Duff has control of the podcast.
So no, I can end it.
We can end. Okay, I was gonna say,
Okay.
Are we stuck here? I don't think we can.
We're stuck here forever.
We're just
That hotel internet. So
yeah. Chad, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
It was fun. So thanks for having me on here.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
All right.